Now, the researchers reported data showing more than 100,000 deaths could be prevented every year if adults at risk for heart disease managed to reduce their systolic blood pressure to 120 or lower. Now, you can see here is that's where blood pressure really comes in to a very important play, where if you do happen to have heart disease, or you're at risk for having heart disease. But that in itself is, there are all kinds of factors that put you at risk for that, including your family history, including your cholesterol intake, all of those things. But in any case, if you do have a high risk of heart disease, or you have heart disease, then 120 or lower is where you need to be. And the study showed that the risk of death from all causes dropped by 20% among individuals who took an average of 3 drugs as part of an intensive program to lower their systolic blood pressure to 120 or lower. These participants were adults ages 50 and older whose blood pressure ranged from 130 to 180, and all were considered at high risk of heart disease because they had previous heart disease or risk factors such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, or a history of smoking. None of the participants were diabetic or had had a stroke or severe heart problems, but they may have previously had heart disease. Per year could be prevented among the 18 million. They also found that 8.9 million adults meeting the criteria had a systolic blood pressure of 145 or higher, and an annual death rate of 2.5%. Lowering their blood pressure to 120 or lower could prevent an additional 61,000 deaths per year. So you can try to control your blood pressure with supplements, lifestyle measures. You don't have to use the medications, because the medications, as powerful as they may be, often have side effects which are as bad, if not worse. So again, stress is a big factor in high blood pressure, and so using meditations to relax is going to be a very important tool. And the other things that you can do is try to avoid a lot of salt consumption in your diet. You can increase things like potassium in your diet and calcium once you become aware of what sorts of foods have those things. You can lower your alcohol intake. So their definition of that is in excess of 2 drinks daily for men under age 65, or in excess of 1 drink daily for women or men over age 65 is considered to be excessive alcohol intake. Weight is another factor. Things like that that can raise blood pressure. Even some of the over-the-counter pain relievers can raise your blood pressure, so you want to be careful about those. So traditionally, as far as the drugs are concerned, you have things like the diuretics, which help the kidneys to flush out excess water. You have beta blockers that help the heart beat more slowly. You have ACE inhibitors, which stands for angiotensin converting enzyme. This inhibits the production of certain hormones which normally cause blood vessels to narrow and increase the pressure inside. You have alpha blockers and alpha beta blockers and nervous system inhibitors and vasodilators. They relax the muscles in blood vessel walls. So these are the different kinds of medications you may be offered to by your doctor, and you'll want to think very carefully about it, and you'll want to investigate it, and quite frankly, you'll want to really think about, what it is that the drug is going to do, and could you possibly do it some other way by limiting alcohol, caffeine, avoiding processed foods, maintaining your optimal weight. Even just losing a little bit of weight can help with that. Relaxation, which we're back to that theme again today. Meditation, yoga, breathing exercises, and biofeedback. No smoking. Exercise as little as 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day, like walking, can help lower your blood pressure. And check the medicines that you might be taking. As for diet, lots of servings of vegetables. Try to cut back on your animal protein. Dr. Weil recommends about 6 ounces a day. It's half a pound, I guess, right? That's that's a little less than half a pound. You might want to limit your salt intake. Garlic as a spice is something that can be very helpful, apparently. So that's interesting. Fish, if you can stand it. I have trouble with fish. I take omega-3 supplements to balance that out, but fish is not something that I can consume very easily. You want to use maybe beans, dry beans, nuts, and seeds if you can. And then, if you take daily supplemental vitamins that have calcium and magnesium and vitamin C, none of these kooky, super supplement things you might see advertised on late night television. Just a regular old, daily multivitamin that has those things that can also, help too. So, all right, that's a lot about high blood pressure. Now, one really fun way to help decrease that is through yoga. And this particular pose is the relaxation pose most used after doing different poses and relaxing in recovery. And I often do it actually at the end of my yoga session to help relax. And it's called, and this might be a little gruesome sounding to you, but it's called the corpse pose. Basically because you're lying there like a corpse. It's also the Hindu term for it is savasana, corpse pose. And you might find it difficult, not because of its physical requirements, but because you have to focus mentally. Because it's sometimes harder to not move at all than it is to, do a movement or a pose or that kind of thing. Many people consider it to be the most important part of the yoga session. It is most often used, as I do, as a final pose of a yoga sequence, a time for relaxation and recovery. So basically what the body does is it just rests lying in a supine position, back on the ground, face up. The focus is placed on your breathing and releasing tension from the body. So as you're facing the sky, you spread your legs shoulder width apart. You exhale and rotate your legs outward by opening up your hips. Your arms are placed out from your body about 45 degrees and your palms are facing up. Consciously, you begin to extend your spine by stretching and adding space between your head and feet. You close your eyes, but you're staying focused on the moment. You slow your breath and your heart rate with each breath. And you feel like all the stress and tension in your body is running right off of you and into the earth. You can imagine your arms and legs are heavy. You can't lift them. And you hold the pose for several minutes, between 2 and 20, depending on how much relaxation you'd like. And then once you start to come out of the pose, you open your eyes and slowly lift your knees. Bring your feet towards your buttocks. Use your legs to push you to the side and press your hands against the floor. Lift your torso up, followed by your head, which should always be the last as you stand up. And that's how you do the corpse pose. And researchers have found that these poses have a lot of therapeutic value in all kinds of things, including, muscle tension, stress, heart rate, blood pressure, but even, mental or emotional disorders like schizophrenia. So that's a good one to know, corpse pose. We'll come back to that, I'm sure, in future episodes. But now, since we are getting close to the end of our program here, it's time for our meditation. And this is a keywords for relaxation meditation. These are words that you can focus on to access almost immediate relaxation when you're in a tense situation. So what you want to do is find a comfortable position, wherever you happen to be, and become aware of how your body feels. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you let your body begin to relax. Imagine that you are breathing in relaxation. Then breathe out through your mouth, forcefully blowing the air out. Imagine that you are expelling tension. Breathe in again. And exhale like you are blowing out a candle, blowing away tension. Breathe slowly and gently now. And continue to take calm breaths as you focus on relaxing your body. Now notice how each area of your body I mention relaxes as soon as you hear the word relax. Focus on your feet. Relax. Ankles. Relax. Lower legs. Relax. Knees. Relax. Upper legs. Relax. Hips. Relax. Pelvic area. Relax. Bottom. Relax. Abdomen, relax. Lower back, relax.